Hi, Accelerated Algebra. So on Friday, you learned how to solve by taking square roots. And when we're doing completing the square, our big goal is to get the equation in a form so we can solve by using square roots. So just keep that in mind as our big goal, the whole reason why we're doing this. Let's look first at perfect square trinomials. We've looked at these before. We know that when we multiply out, for instance, x plus 4 squared, we get x squared plus 8x plus 16. The 16 comes from the 4 being squared. The 8 comes from 2 times 4. Because when we FOILed this whole thing out as x plus 4 times x plus 4, we've got x squared plus 4x plus 4x. That's why we get 8x altogether. Plus 16. Okay, so what if we have a minus? Well, it's similar, except negative 6 times negative 6 gives us a positive 36, and then this, of course, is 2 times negative 6. Okay, so using those observations, we are going to kind of go backwards here. We're going to look for a c value to make the trinomial a perfect square. So let's just look at a couple of examples, and I think you'll get the hang of this pretty quickly. Suppose I've got x squared plus 10x plus blank. I want this to be a perfect square trinomial. So what's going to go in the blank? So remember, I want this to be x plus something squared. Well, what's the something have to be? Well, look up here again. This middle term, the b, is double that 4. Right here, the 8 was double the 4. So this 10 must be double what? Well, this must be 2 times 5. Well, then, if we continue the pattern like we had up here, what goes here must be 5 squared. So this is going to be x plus 5 squared, and this must be a 25. So the thing that we're looking for is a 25. And then, to check it, we can multiply out x plus 5 squared and make sure that if we do x plus 5 times x plus 5, we really do get x squared plus 10x plus 25. Great, so that works. So the missing number was the 25, and this is how we write it as a perfect square trinomial. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, so this must be double our x plus whatever this number is. Double that is negative 14. So what's this missing number? Well, we know this has to be 2 times negative 7. So this is actually going to be a minus 7 here. So you might really write that as x minus 7 squared. What's going to go here? Negative 7 squared, so 49. You have some practice problems on Khan Academy that are just like this. Okay, so what's the point of being able to do all this? We want to be able to solve, remember our goal, we want to be able to write an equation like this so that we can then solve by taking a square root. Okay, now I could solve this by factoring, but we're going to try solving by completing the square. The first thing I want to do is sort of mimic what we did up here. I'm going to get this 35 to the other side, so I'm going to write this as x squared plus 2x equals 35. I'm going to leave a blank here, and I'm going to ask myself, what needs to go here so that this side is a perfect square? My goal is to write this as something squared equals some number over here, which I don't know what it's going to be yet. Okay, well, let me think about this. This has to be 2 times 1. So this here is going to be 1 squared. So I'm going to add 1 to this side of the equation. Of course, to keep this balanced, I must add 1 to this side as well. Great, so what do I have now? Well, on this side, this is a perfect square trinomial now because I made it that way on purpose. That's the same as x plus 1 squared. And now what do I have over here? 36. Nice. Now I can go back and solve by using square roots, like we practiced on Friday. I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So I have x plus 1 equals 6, or x plus 1 equals negative 6. 2 solutions. So either x equals 5 or x equals negative 7. Now to check, you can always plug it back into this equation. You could also check by actually going back and solving that by factoring and seeing that you get the same thing. Let's do another one together. Let's suppose we start with x squared minus 6x plus 12 equals 19. Okay, my first step is to get all the constants over here. So I'm going to rewrite this as x squared minus 6x, and if I subtract 12 from both sides, then I will have a 7 over here. What do I need now to make this side a perfect square trinomial? So remember, I want it to be something squared equals something over here. Well, I know that this negative 6 has to be 2 times negative 3. So this term here must be negative 3 squared, which of course is 9. If I add 9 to this side, I must add 9 to this side so that my equation is still true and balanced. Alright, so this now is the same as x minus 3 squared. And what do I have over here? 7 plus 9 is 16. Super. Now I have to take the square root of both sides. X minus 3 equals 4, or x minus 3 equals negative 4. Two solutions, x equals 7, or x equals negative 1. Now, completing the square gets more complicated, and we'll do more problems tomorrow. You can also use as a reference section 9.4 in your textbook. For today, you have practice problems on Khan Academy. Awesome job. Keep up the good work.